Hi, my name is Brittany Callaghy, and this is my Week 7 video journal entry for the class EDUU 677. Today I'm going to be talking about collaboration. Throughout the course of my fieldwork, collaboration occurred among all stakeholders who provided services, supports to the student whom we are working with. The first person I collaborated with was my other SDC teacher. I am in constant collaboration with her and communication with her. We love to bounce ideas off each other and help each other address certain behaviors that are occurring. We are either emailing, texting, or talking over our Zoom meet. Collaborating with her has been awesome because she has many years under her belt, so she is constantly providing me and teaching me new strategies and techniques to use with my students. Most of the time, our communication and collaboration is very effective, but there have been a few times that text messages get read wrong or misunderstood, and when that happens, it is usually better just to pick up the phone or schedule a time to get on a Zoom meet. But overall, our collaboration is usually really, really effective, and we both provide great strategies and techniques to each other. I also collaborate with my SLP on a weekly basis. We talk about any tech issues that have been going on her end, which students are attending her meet, and which students are not able to get on. We are constantly documenting which students are receiving their speech services and which students need to be provided makeup time. We talk about student groupings and how they are performing during her meets. During one of our meetings, I told her about the intervention we are utilizing with our student. We talked about the coping strategies that he is trying to implement. I provided her with his coping strategies video or visual and the data sheet so she can record data. She noticed that behaviors would arise when he was not on time to her meet. So if he was a little late, um, it would affect his performance and it would make him very overwhelmed and frustrated. She was able to utilize the coping strategies and really help him gain control of his emotions. So it was really beneficial collaborating with her and getting her input on the intervention that we are using with the student. I contributed to the collaboration process by providing guidance to my support staff in regards to the intervention that we are implementing with the student. I also provided guidance to the SLP. We talked about the coping strategies and how to walk through emotions, and she was able to provide me with tips and tricks to help out the student too. I created data sheets that we would be using throughout the course of the intervention. At first, we were using a Google document to collect data, but after some discussion, we decided that a Google form would be more efficient. I also provided instruction to my support staff on how to appropriately implement the coping strategies, as well as how to respond to the intervention and how to talk the student through his emotions. Most of the coping strategies we utilized with the student were pretty simple to understand. For example, deep breathing, getting a glass of water, turning off a camera and taking a 5-minute break. With that being said, I still wanted to make sure that they both fully understood how to use them and when to implement them. So I reviewed them constantly. I also met with the student about once a week to talk about how he felt he was progressing. Um, and we also discussed which coping strategies worked best for him and which ones weren't as effective. We talked about his behaviors that he was displaying and how he could handle the situation better. We also talked about how he felt after he was finished implementing a coping strategy. Talking to him once a week was really, really beneficial for him because he was able to kind of dissect what happened that week because we would go over the behaviors that he displayed that week, and he would remember them, and he remembered which coping strategy was most beneficial, and he did mention that he has seen progress, which is amazing. Lastly, I felt the collaboration process between myself, my IAs, my support staff, the SLP, and the other SDC teacher was very successful. After each day, we would talk about any behaviors that were displayed by the student, how many prompts it took him to choose a coping strategy, what coping strategy he was mostly using, and what the end result was. This was mainly with my IAs who were constantly working with them. We also analyzed the data and found out that most of his behaviors were occurring during math time. He is usually very successful in math, so when he doesn't understand a task at first, he gets really upset and frustrated, and he displays negative behaviors and negative self talk. Like I mentioned before, these behaviors only started after the school closure and when we moved to online. We are actually planning on returning to school in March, so I plan on continuing to implement these strategies in the classroom setting. Thank you for listening.